Happy Wednesday, everyone. Welcome to the Libra Lounge with Keisha. I'm in the middle of a man sandwich over here. I you guys know Mike. He's the host of a Manticore podcast.
Manticore Media podcast.
Manticore Media. Are you going to correct me the whole show? I mean, no one knew it was wrong until you corrected me.
Actually, it's King Michael of House Navarro, the second of his name, conqueror of the porcelain throne, keeper of the keg, and occasional caster of the pod.
I thought you were Peter Pan. Interesting, great. I thought you were Peter Pan tonight. Okay. Now I know that sword over there. That is pretty impressive, Mike.
Thank you.
I'm not surprised that you have that.
I just got it this past weekend when I saw y'all at Comic Palooza.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. I got some good stuff from there too.
All right.
So over here, we're gonna try to be on our best behavior because we have Sean Skipworth, who is running for city council. And what is the position number?
It is position 2.
Position number 2.
Number 2.
Number 2 position. Okay,
No comment.
so no comment. Before we get things started, we want to give a big thank you to Classic Bar by Sherry, who is our show sponsor this evening. I think tonight's going to be the first night that we run a commercial for Classic Bar by Sherry, right, Producer John?
That's
John?
right. Who?
Oops.
Who the hell is John?
We'll talk about it after the show.
Yeah,
Producer
we will.
James.
Yes, we'll have a commercial for Sherry.
So last week you guys got to see our podcast from Comic Palooza. Mike was there the whole entire weekend. He's all about his Comic Palooza. That was so much fun. I'd never gone before. I really, James goes every year, and I'm kind of like, I'm not going to that nerdy ass shit. But I had so much fun, and I will tell you, I'm hard to impress. But there was so much dope talent there. It was unbelievable. I think I got James. What did I get you? What comic book character was it?
It was Deadpool. It was his face, but it was done by one of our friends who's a leather artist.
Yeah, it's all leather.
So it's like built up, textured leather. It's really amazing.
It's pretty badass. You may have heard me scream when I saw this. So we were going around to the different booths and was looking at this one guy, all of his artwork. I'm like, oh, he's really, really good. And then, oh my God, he had Coraline. I'm a huge Coraline fan. And he had drawn her, and the details were just, I'm like, marry me. I'm gonna be your new muse. You're talented. We make cute little mixed race babies and everything. So we bought a lot of stuff. It was very, very enjoyable, and I got to meet a lot of other local podcasters. So that's pretty cool. All right, so if you are a friend of the Libra Lounge, you know what time it is. It's time for the Gab.
We know she has a really big mouth, which sounds kind of dirty, and that's probably true too. Let's gossip. The Gab with Keisha.
All right, so if you follow the Libra Lounge on social media or TMZ or anything like that, you know that everyone has been talking about the whole Tati Westbrook and James Charles conflict. It all started with Tati Westbrook's video on YouTube entitled Goodbye Sister, where she totally puts James Charles on blast, accuses him of all of these things, and I think really he did something to hurt her feelings, and she was probably on her period or something, and she just took it way too damn far. Posted this video. Poor James lost like 3 million followers. Then who's the other guy? Jeffree Star. Jeffree Star, you guys don't know who that is, do y'all?
No.
I don't
No.
know. Enlighten me. Who's
Okay, so Jeffree Star, these people are makeup gurus, okay? And they have huge YouTube followings, and they're influencers, basically. Jeffree Star, never mind the fact that he kind of called dark-skinned black women gorillas. I'll give you that one.
Yikes.
What he said some other really just pretty pathetic and rude things. But here's my issue with Jeffree Star. He looks like he is on his last week of dying of AIDS. He just looks bad. Am I wrong, James? You know what he looks like. It's bad.
Yeah, I don't know if I would go as far as dying of AIDS.
Or dying of a venereal disease.
Or maybe he just opened the Ark of the Covenant. Like we'll go with
Yeah,
that.
it looks he just looks
Face
horrible.
melting. I mean, it's.
Oh, it's horror. It's just bad. You'll have to look him up. His cheeks are all sunken. You know what? I'll take the AIDS thing back. Like he's about to die of a heroin overdose. Was that fair?
I don't know if it's fair.
Yeah, he just looks horrible, and he's an idiot. He's an idiot. He jumped on the bandwagon and started talking about James Charles and accusing him of, trying to pressure straight men into dating him. All kinds of stuff, of being a thief. So everyone was on this whole "we hate James Charles" campaign, including myself, until James Charles came out with his response video. And when I tell you, he had all of the receipts. I mean, every single receipt, every text message, phone logs. I'm totally Team James at this point. Those guys fucked him over, did him dirty. I think this is something that they could have worked out behind the scenes. And at the end of the day, they're all just messing up their money, because each one of them is going up and down. Who's going to lose followers and this and that. But here's the proof that James Charles is back on top. Last night, Kylie Jenner did the launch of her new skincare line. And guess who was invited after she unfollowed him? It was James Charles. So I think he's back on top. So moving right along, have you guys heard of this? There was a big controversy about Lil Nas X. What is with the rappers and their names nowadays? Like, it's very confusing because they're all Lil something. You got Lil Peep. I think he died. You got Lil Zane. You got Lil Tutti Frutti. It's confusing.
Have you ever watched The Wire, the old HBO show?
No, but
Yes,
he has.
yes.
So at the first episode, there's a guy, there's this murder, and he says, "What was his name?" And he says, "Snot Boogie." And he goes, "Snot Boogie?" And he said, because he would steal the pot from Dice and run off with it, so we called him Snot Boogie.
Lil Snot Boogie.
Yeah, there you go.
You just throw Lil in it, and that's your new rap name. But I'm old, so it's like I've been calling this kid the wrong name, and my daughter, who'll be 17 next week, was like, that's not his name. That's this other rapper. I'm like, they need to do it. Back in the day, we had Snoop Dogg, Eminem. Their names are nothing alike. So what?
Well, we also had doctors.
There were two Dr.
Yeah,
That
Dre's.
is
That's
true.
true.
We had two
That's
Dr.
true.
Dre's.
Yeah.
But to be fair,
Well, nowadays it's not even doctors. They don't even try to be a nurse practitioner. Like it's just who's
to
that?
be
Oh,
fair,
that's
one of them
tech
was
something.
extremely overweight. And you remember he was the guy, Yo MTV Raps.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't know.
No, I don't know.
because
I'm
he
just
was
saying
watching
that.
the metalhead thing at night.
I want to be part of the cool group, so yeah.
Yeah. He has no idea
Oh,
who we're
yeah.
talking about.
Who's his partner, like Ed Lover?
Because I'm remembering this being a kid. I
Yes.
know.
So he was watching like heavy metal
Headbangers
show.
Ball?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
Oh, yeah,
exactly
Ricky
it.
Ratman. Yeah.
All right, so this kid, Lil Nas X. So wait a minute, he took a couple of different people's names and created one.
You think they just put some syllables in a hat? And just
Yeah,
kinda draw
just
and
like
you say-
pick. Yes. Okay, because Nas is an actual rapper. X, you got DMX, Exhibit. He was not original when he thought this one out. Okay, so there was a lot of controversy because this guy, and he's really young, he's like 19. He released a song. He's been trying to be in a rap game for years and years and years, and he's like, I got to do something different. So he comes out with this song called Old Town Road. You know what it is?
I know it, yeah.
Do you have kids? How old are your kids? They're little.
He's 7.
Oh no, you probably don't know it.
I don't think
then,
this
no.
is one of his, his big
No,
music.
nah.
yeah.
So it is a country rap song. Okay, so why are you looking at me like that?
Because the last time I remember country rap, it was Cowboy Troy.
Oh, that was awful.
Exactly.
Don't bring that up. Nightmares. Okay, so Lil Nas X came out with this song, and it skyrocketed. It, went to the top of the charts, including it was pretty high up there on the Billboard country music charts until some old country white folks got together and said, nah, we're not going to do this today. They took it off. So Billy Ray Cyrus, Achy Breaky Heart, the dad of Miley Cyrus, he says, you know what? I'm going to do you a favor. To get you back on the country charts, we're going to do a remix, and I'm going to be on there, which got him back on the country charts. So this song is like huge. So to show how thankful he is to Billy Ray Cyrus, he bought him a Maserati. Like, how do you even have enough money to buy a Maserati?
I think probably Billy Ray Cyrus can afford a Maserati himself, is my guess. But
Yeah, but I mean, it was nice.
a thoughtful gift.
Yeah, but that's that new rich. That's that new rich, and you're not gonna be rich for long, kind of stuff. You know, I would have been like, "Look, Billy Ray, here's a new cowboy hat. It's got my name on it. Thank you. Let's take a picture together and go on about our business about a Maserati."
Well, in all fairness, he's probably going to die in the next couple of years anyway, because they seem to do that lately.
Yeah, they do. What was the other boy? His name was an X something.
X extension.
I
or
don't know.
something?
That's not a
Ex-
lately thing. I mean, that's Tupac and Biggie Smalls
Well,
and
no,
all
but
this.
it's
You know,
been
this
more
is
going. It's been
really-
a lot. Yeah. Yes, it was XXX.
XXX X triple extension cord, something like
something
that.
like that.
Turn your mic off. Don't get back on the mic anymore. You're completely showing out. So yes, he
Yo,
got.
yo, yo, Big Home Depot.
Oh my god. Okay, so he was killed a few months back. But yeah, he was an X something. XX Tentation or
Yeah.
Scholar's gonna kill
Triple
me. She's watching.
extension or something, or he X alive is what we'll call it. So
no comment.
Going with the Office
No,
Space
no.
joke. I was about to cut one
Ah,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what, Sean? Here's the
not
sad
gonna work
part.
here anymore.
We're trying to be on our best behavior tonight because you're here.
Well, that doesn't mean you're not being on your best behavior.
This is as good as it gets with us. He started to talk dirty,
Ooh,
just
yeah.
like horribly dirty.
Made
so
me blush.
we're trying so hard to keep it together.
It's all the effort that counts.
Yes, we're trying. We're failing.
Just give me a timestamp later to say, all right, listen right after this.
Just don't hurt
I'll
the
put
campaign.
NSFW on there.
Well, it's
Be
funny
aware.
because Mike, he's come on the show a few times, and the first time he had his family watching.
Oh,
He learned real quick not to do that ever again. He was like, I told my family members to watch the show, Keisha. There's kids watching. I'm like, hi, kids.
and my
Hi.
wife put her son to bed before I left. She goes, I want
Smart.
to watch this in peace. Go to bed. So
Yeah, and it's not that I have a horrible mouth, but I'm so loud with it as well. So, okay. All right. So I tell you what, if the three of us decide to, release some stupid ass song, y'all all owe me a Maserati. Fair?
Sure, it'll be a Hot Wheel
Yeah,
or a Matchbox.
yeah, or salvage job would be about
Yeah.
$500 maybe.
I don't like where this is going.
Lego.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, it won't go 185. It'll be like
Lego.
18.5 volts maybe.
I got that whole park in somewhere in Moscow. It's made out of Legos.
We
I mean,
need
you
a
could,
we need a
maybe.
better class of guests. We need to get some of those rappers in here.
I just want to know what y'all's rap group name would be.
Mike.
That's a good question.
Sean?
I don't know.
I don't know, but I've got my rap name.
Oh, why am I not damn surprised? Please enlighten us and tell us what your rap
Okay,
name would be.
When I was in high school,
Oh,
I made a
God.
joke that if I was ever a rapper, I would rap about Shakespearean stuff and call myself Beth Mac.
Throw the whole damn show away. Throw the whole cut. We're out. Just good night, everyone. Throw the whole show away.
I actually made an appearance as Beth Mac in 3 films, student films in college,
That's the
Mike.
greast thing I've ever heard.
and
in
he
my life.
died too. He was killed.
Of
Yeah.
course he did.
Of course.
Of course
Did
he
did one rap song too.
So would it be like big or little Othello?
Oh, it'd be Othello.
A fellow. Nice.
Mike, don't tell nobody else
Are these
ever
literary
in
jokes
life
landing at all? I'm just
that
checking.
name again.
I had a pretty big following, believe it or not.
3? Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
At least
okay.
2 classes. So about 35 people. I'll share it with you later.
No, you don't have to. Okay, so Jada Pinkett Smith. She's getting weirder and weirder and weirder by the year. Okay, I don't know if it's because of this Scientology lifestyle that she and Will are following, but she seems to be overly sharing a lot of stuff. Okay, so she's got this Red Table Talk with her mom and her daughter Willow. And Willow's what, 18, 19 maybe? I think she's around Scholar's age, so like 17, 18, 19. And Jada has been pretty open about the fact that she used to be addicted to porn. And that's understandable.
That's a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing. Yeah, yeah. She said that it was horrible, where she was masturbating like 3+ times a day. That's a lot of free time on your on your friend.
No comment. No comment. I'll just,
But she felt the need to share this with her daughter. And you guys know, I am very open, I'm very blunt. But there's just some things I don't feel the need to share with Skylar. Like,
right. Why? How do you know this to talk about it? That doesn't seem remotely appropriate.
I'm like, how did that conversation even start? Like, you know what?
Yeah.
Let's go to Sunday brunch. I got to talk to you about something. I feel that it's only right for you, as my daughter, to know I used to be addicted to porn. I don't even know how you.
Was it in the tabloids or something to where you had to address this or what?
You know what?
Because I'm with you. I have a child. I don't
Right.
have that particular problem, but I can't imagine I would tell my son that. But hey, son, by the way,
Yeah.
Well, maybe
that seems wildly inappropriate.
Yeah.
maybe at 3 times a day, one of them caught her or something.
You know what? That is what it was. She actually, but she
But why
was.
is it on Twitter or in the
Well,
public
she's got,
sphere?
well, she's got this show now where she's really she's open about everything. And I
Yeah.
think Willow did walk in on something when she was a little girl. But that would have been a situation like, you didn't see what happened. Follow my fingers.
Don't follow your.
You
don't
saw-
follow the finger. Don't follow the finger.
You don't remember anything. Nice is just a dream. It's just look. I just say, you know what? I used to be fucked up. Yeah, just leave it at that. You don't need details. I mean, I feel like I could go up to Skylar and say, your mama did some fucked up shit back in the day, and she'd be like, not a surprise. Okay, and go about her day. I don't think I need to explain anything. It's funny because James and I'm so open with Skylar, and we're huge action movie fans. So, I mean, she's seen a person get run over by a car. She's Fast and the Furious, John Wick, all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to sex, I'm like, oh, no. She needs to be out of the house before we can watch that sex scene on that movie. I don't know. There's something
There
that's
is something
uncomfortable.
different about it.
Yeah.
There is. As a parent too, I'm much more worried about exposure to that
Yeah.
than I am about something like that. You're absolutely right.
He goes, I don't get it. You cuss like a sailor. Y'all have a great relationship. And I'm like, sex is something that I guess it's private.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yes, we've had the sex talk and all of that, but I tried to make it as quick as damn possible. Like, just don't do it.
Kind of like James, right?
Yeah, well, oh God. You know, when she had her first boyfriend, he was so obsessed. Like, he constantly was watching her cell phone. What are they talking about? And I'm like, James, like, I thought I was going to divorce both of them. I'm like, y'all are driving me insane. And I had to break it down to him and said, James, one day she will be someone's wife. One day she will have sex. If he's well endowed, hopefully she'll have sex a lot with him. She will give birth to a child. She's a person. She's a woman. Like, yes. So I think he has finally, come to the realization, okay, he's okay. He's okay with it. Does that make sense? Like,
It's tolerable.
it's tolerable. Like, she's not doing anything, and but he still doesn't get the fact that one day she will do those things that he likes to do with me. Yeah. Or you just never want to see your child as anything sexual, period, point blank. I kind of put it up there when some people are like, oh, I smoke weed with my kid. I'm like, no, like,
Yeah. I don't,
just,
you shouldn't really be doing that with your kids.
well, we shouldn't be doing it at all, But James was like, well, if it becomes legal, he was like, would you smoke around Skylar? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
It's just something else that I'm just no.
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 Yeah. So it's like, would I take Skylar to a strip club? No. It's just some things that are just like, can't do it, won't do it. Just, I don't know. So Jada, that little girl of yours is already weird enough. Okay. So's the boy. He doesn't know what he is. Some days he wears dresses. Some days, he's got blonde hair. Your kids are confused. You and Will are fucking them up. Don't tell her anything else about being addicted to porn. Okay? You have embarrassed this child in front of the entire world. Like, everyone's like, oh, so Willow, I heard your mom was addicted to porn. What kind of porn was it? Do you know? Did she tell you? Have you seen it? Have you watched the same kind of porn that your mom watched? It's just, don't do that to that baby. Right, James? Right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's wrong. Well, it was wrong to let that kid whip her hair back and forth.
Oh, that
That
song
was
used to be
bad
the
enough.
jam. Don't do that.
Oh, that's how you ruin a kid.
No, see, so when Willow had her, she released one album. Do we say album now, or do we say
Yeah,
CD?
I think they still say album.
Okay, she released one album, and I'm sorry, that's when Scholar was still into Radio Disney and all of that. So you just had to learn to enjoy and embrace some of the music. And I will say that Willow's album was one of the ones that I was like, okay, I can do this. I confess, I would listen to the shit even when Scholar wasn't in the truck with me. I'm just saying, some of those songs were lit, as the kids say nowadays. So, yeah. So when we get back from this break, we're going to let Sean officially introduce himself to the Libra Lounge with Keisha audience, and we're going to get all up in his business about running for city council. Why would you want to run for city council?
No comment.
Okay, we'll be right back.
Oh, we're not.
Are you looking to lose weight, improve your posture, have muscle definition, increase flexibility, and reduce stress? If you answered yes, then Classic Bar with Sherry is the perfect, invigorating, and dynamic workout for you. Bar technique is extremely safe and is designed to stretch and tone with a splash of cardio. The method is the foundation of ballet with the flow of yoga. To learn more about Classic Bar, call Bar Instructor Sherry at 281-678-8037 or stop by the studio at Femme Fatale located at 689 FM 517 West, Suite 300, Dickinson, Texas 77539. Your first class is only $10, and if you mention the Libra Lounge with Keisha, you only pay half. Make sure to follow the studio at Femme Fatale on both Facebook and Instagram. You can also email Sherry at barandyoga@gmail.com. That's bar, B-A-R-R-E, and yoga@gmail.com. Smoking weed with your kids will kind of fuck up your high a little bit. That's the way I look at it. That's a waste of a high. Are we back on?
No comment.
All right, so Sean,
Yes.
introduce yourself to the Libra Lounge audience.
Sure. I'm Sean Skipworth. I live over here in Dickinson.
Did
and
your voice just change?
It did.
It did.
It deepened and ran.
He
This
totally
is my
did the radio
politician voice.
DJ.
Hello. This is my door-to-door canvassing voice. I live here in Dickinson, and I'm running for position 2 for city council.
So before we go on,
Yeah.
I must confess that when I see your name,
Mhm.
all I see is Skip. I've been calling you Skip.
Oh, people do that all the time. They'll say Skip, and then they'll say,
Oh,
I'm sorry, I
Sean,
apologize.
yes.
People do it all the time. Feel free.
Okay,
if
I
you-
don't feel bad. I was like,
No, don't worry about it.
I'm like, Keisha, no, it's not Skip.
You're
It's
good. You're
Sean.
good. Yeah, don't sweat it. Don't sweat it.
Okay, so what made you decide to run for city council?
Well, so I teach political science over at College of the Mainland, so I'm kind of in that world anyway. But after Harvey, of course, a lot of people started caring a little more about local government and what
Mhm.
happened, and it's just kind of one of these things where I'm worried that the city doesn't have a great overall direction.
Okay.
If you look at Dickinson, take the hurricane part out of it, even
Right.
for the moment, we're just what's our identity? What's the plan? How are we moving forward? Where's the
Mhm.
growth in the city? What are we going to be? Road problems, drainage problems, and we just kind of seem to chase potholes. And so that kind of lack of a clear direction, it concerns me as somebody who lives here and who's vested in the community, working at the college.
Mhm.
Our roots are here. My wife's on the board out there, and kid goes to school here. So I care about the community and this town in particular, and just kind of worried that we're just kind of stagnant and not going anywhere real clearly. So yeah, that's a big reason.
So you're running for position 2. I can't say it without giggling. Just position 2. Because I'm a 12-year-old boy. What exactly is position 2? What is it? I mean, that you saying that, I don't know what that means.
Well, in a way,
Mike, don't encourage me.
You got me started now.
So tell us about, what is
Right.
position 2?
well, in a way, it really doesn't matter. There's 6 city council positions, and then the mayor.
Okay.
Well, all the city council positions are at large.
Hmm.
So everybody in Dickinson votes for all the city council members.
Okay.
So it doesn't represent a specific area or anything like that. It's just they're all at large. So
Okay, so it's not like a certain job, like position 1, you do this, position 2, you do that.
no, it's not like that, and it's not you're this part of town and that part of town. It's all at
Okay.
large. So,
So then
everybody
the
can vote.
entire city can vote for you?
Correct. Though the city limits in Dickinson are a little funky. If you've ever looked at a map,
Yeah.
it's
It's
bizarre.
weird, yeah.
It's bizarre. So,
It's-
but
yeah.
generally, yeah.
Okay, so recently, because I follow a lot of Facebook groups, and there's been a lot of reports, like weekly reports about drainage issues, trash pickup has been a huge one, and a lot of people have been losing electricity whenever the winds get, high or there's rain. So, how do you think City Council should correct some of these issues?
Well, I think I guess I'll take those maybe one at a time.
Okay,
Probably the
yeah.
best way to go. Let's take the trash, for instance, right?
Okay.
My understanding is that what's going on is that right now when you pay your trash bill, it's a quarterly bill.
Mhm.
And so you pay it directly to Republic, the trash company.
Okay.
My understanding is that there's a non-payment rate of something like 30 to 40%.
Mhm.
And Republic's picking up from everybody, whether you paid or not.
Mhm.
Because I guess if you're hanging on the trash truck, you're just picking up garbage.
Right,
They're not,
yeah.
oh, that's a bad house. That house is
Yeah.
flagged. Now, there may be some ways they can do it, but they're not.
Mhm.
So what I think happened was, as a result, they started cutting routes back because they weren't generating enough revenue, and so that starts affecting everybody.
Mhm.
Now, what's interesting is the city really had the same problem. We used to use Waste Management. I don't know if anybody remembers that.
Mhm.
Then you paid it on your water bill, right?
Yeah.
So the difference there was that the city collected the money and then gave it to Waste Management.
Mhm.
Well, in that instance, there was still a high non-payment rate, and the city was just covering it.
Okay.
So it was coming out of the city. So they said, we'll split this off, and we'll have the Republic get it. Well, that didn't change the fundamental nature of the problem, I guess. And so Republic just isn't collecting the money. So now they're just not coming out. So pay your garbage bill, number one. We could say
Yeah.
that, but I think what happened with this contract is that we didn't do a good job of making sure that this didn't happen again.
Mhm.
I heard at the last city council meeting, someone said, well, they told us they had this technology and that they were going to do things differently and they were going to be able to collect all of it.
Mhm.
Well, it doesn't seem like, number one, that we put that in the contract where they have to do that.
Okay.
And number two, I mean, did they just tell us that and we just accepted it? Okay, sure, they said that.
Right.
But why are we just now checking now when it's a problem? We didn't check before to see, are you guys implementing that? Are you doing it? We
Right.
sort of wait till there's a problem. So with that, we got to really be careful about the contract to make sure we
Right.
actually address the issue instead of just passing it on to Republic.
Yeah. I have to be honest. A trash bill is something that I've never thought about. My
Right.
concern is like, did you put the trash out?
Right.
And that's it. I didn't even realize that it's a bill that's paid.
Right, and it's quarterly, and which is kind of weird. How many quarterly bills do you pay?
Right. Exactly. I mean, yeah, I was like, what is, you see because everyone becomes a politician all of a sudden.
Oh, everyone's an expert
Yeah,
in
everyone-
contract law
Yes.
and everything. Yeah.
And I'm just like, what the hell is going? Like what? And I looked at Jeff like, what is what is going
know.
on with the trash? And
You're going to start a neighborhood pool. Like, let's bet. Are they coming today? Or are they coming
yes,
next time?
and
Oh,
I'm
what are the
just-
odds? 2-1? What is it?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's gonna be a problem for the whole city at
Right.
some point because it's gonna start. People are still gonna put their trash
Right.
out.
We're going to start setting it on fire on the curb, I guess. Which
Oh,
is not a
Lord.
place we want to be. So
Well, at least we'll be on the news again.
I guess, yeah, isn't it great? And that's kind of the thing, right? Is that what do we end up on the news for? Well, there's garbage in Dickinson.
Weather.
Oh, it's underwater in Dickinson.
Yeah.
That's the stuff we end up on the news for. And that we kind of laugh, but that's a big problem. If you're
Yeah.
looking at it developing the town, inviting small business in, getting out a good reputation, that's not good.
Yeah.
And we've got to do some stuff to counter that. I mean,
So the drainage issue.
Yeah.
So from my understanding, it was already bad, but Harvey just made it worse.
yeah. So I'm running again. I'm a challenger running for city council. So I probably shouldn't say this, but I'll be honest.
Mhm.
I don't think you can blame the city leaders for much of what happened during Harvey.
Yeah.
That was such a big event
Yeah.
that it is what it is. But That aside, a couple Thursdays ago, 2 weeks ago on Thursday, it rained about 2 hours. Dietz was flooded
Right.
in the whole road. So the problem is we've had so much overdevelopment, not even in our area, but or in our city, but in the surrounding area, League
Right.
City, that our drainage system is woefully behind. And I think people that have lived here a long time say, oh, we're flooding a lot more than we used to.
Yeah.
They're right. And we've got to do something to turn that around.
So do you think that that's high up on a priority list?
Well, if your house is flooded, what's the point of anything else? So,
Yeah.
I mean, nobody wants, we got to invest in the infrastructure here if we hope to bring in business or anything. Who wants to say, I'm going to open a business in this town that, it's going to be underwater, that,
Yeah.
major streets are underwater after an hour and a half, 2 hours of heavy rain.
Yeah.
We can't just say, well, we're going to get business in here and then we're going to get tax money and then we're going to fix our roads. Well, maybe you got to show them something up front at
Yeah.
least to get them to put skin in the game.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That makes perfect sense, because we are a new business here. And what was it, 2 Saturdays ago? It rained pretty bad, and
Yeah.
I looked at James because this building actually during
This
Harvey
area flooded.
it flooded.
Mhm.
So I looked at him and I'm like, well, never mind, I'm lying. I was asleep, but
That's the best thing to do at this point. What are you going to do about it? Just go to sleep.
He James, being who he is, he got up and he came and checked on the shop
Mhm.
because we're right on the bayou.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is a big concern. You want to have something in your community, but at the same time, that's a fear that we have.
It is, and so first of all, I salute you for coming out here and taking the risk, because we do need small business, but
Right.
we can't just sort of rest on the goodwill of entrepreneurs
Yeah.
to come
Yes,
out here.
exactly.
But we got to do something up front, and then if we can get some more small business in, that's going to help us to keep those efforts going to generate more sales tax. I think a big problem we have here, you go over to Texas City, for
Mhm.
instance, they have these refineries and all of this. So
Right.
when the tax rate can be low on homeowners because they bring in all this stuff from those refineries.
Right.
Or League City, they're just urban sprawling, right? They
Yeah.
just build. But here we don't have anything like that.
No.
We don't have land to build on. So the homeowner, is the biggest tax. So we got to expand the tax base to get more businesses like yours in here.
Mhm.
But at the same time, we got to do something, I think, up front to turn around some of the perception and couple that with having a good plan that we use to attract people in.
Right.
So yeah.
So what was the other one? Oh, the electricity.
Yeah, so we had some problems with that, not recently, but last year, a year before, it would just be, just some high wind, like you were
Yeah.
saying, and the electricity would go out. I'll be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure what
the issue
going on with
is,
that.
yeah.
That's certainly, I think it would be, is it TMNP out here, Texas New Mexico Power?
Yeah.
I think is ours. So that would certainly be something that I could inquire about. But I know one blackout a few years ago, they said something had built a nest in the transformer station, and there were welders.
That's scary.
There were welders working at 3 a.m. I saw this live video on I-45 now, and
Mhm.
they got these guys out here, and they're welding in the middle of the night, fixing a transformer.
And there was
station,
a nest.
a substation. They said it was a nesting bird. Sure. I don't know anything about that.
Probably was.
I'm not going to become an electricity expert
Right,
like everybody
right,
does at this.
yes.
So I'll take them at their word, though it does seem a little strange to me. But
Yeah, because I'm nosy, and I like to be in the know. I like to
Good.
know what's going on, and most of the time I don't even make a comment. I'm just like, this is gonna turn to a good argument right here, and it always does. But these are the major
yeah.
issues that I've been hearing about. What do you think are the top 3 biggest affairs, right? Not affairs like people having affairs.
Issues?
There's a lot of affairs going on. If you want, later we'll have another show about that. But
No
what
comment.
are the biggest issues?
I just need a button, kind of no comment. So.
Right? We should have gave you like a little
know.
thing to put over it. No comment. What are the top 3 issues to you?
I think you named several of them. I think, drainage.
Mhm.
We didn't talk about roads, but that's
Oof.
got to be number 2 for most people.
Yeah.
And then what I tend to hear being out for the last few months, knocking on doors, I'd say that kind of that customer service or the citizen service experience with the city, that can be kind of a hit or miss. When
You
issues,
damn right about
when-
that.
So
yeah.
I was going to say, I was going to ask you actually, so I'll turn it around. Well,
Mhm.
so
Hey, I'm the guest. Okay, great.
as someone who's opened up a small business in the
Mhm.
community, so what was that experience like for you? So you said, "Gosh, I'm going to open a storefront here in Dickinson."
Mhm.
So how did that go? I'm interested.
My husband and I are both from Dickinson. His family's been here forever. They've had several different businesses. And so when we had the podcast, but you know, our home is set up where I could run my businesses from home. The podcast, the event planning business, and then, you know, we did
Were you
custom
doing it?
shirts and
Were you
stuff.
doing it through like a Etsy service or just on your own?
No,
or-
just on my
Okay.
own. And then it got to a point, especially with the podcast, you know, we have guests, and I mean, it was a perfect setup, but I'm just like, I'm tired of all these people in my house.
Right.
And so, you know, yeah, it's just, you know, because then you get entourages, and it's just like, God damn, 30 people? Really? Oh, okay, well, I guess we'll make it fit.
And I stepped on James's dirty underwear a couple times going to
That
the
probably,
studio.
then I have animals, and my
Can
animals.
you have X-Lax, the rapper, in your house?
I
I don't
know.
know. You know, it's hard to know. Hard to know.
Okay, if I do have him, you're gonna be my co-host for that. So it got to a point where like, okay, we gotta find a spot. And I'll be honest with you. Sometimes when you work from home and you're a person like me, there's some days like, yeah, there's a marathon
really
of the Real
working.
Housewives
Yeah.
on, and you know.
That's the pitfall, especially if you're your own boss. Right? This,
Exactly. I'm like, I ain't listening to you today. I'm talking to myself. So, you know, we started looking around, but I'll be honest with you, we live in Leak City. But
the evil empire.
but
How
here's
could you?
the thing, that my daughter, she started off at preparatory school, but when it was time to her to integrate, I worked at Barber Middle
Mhm.
School. I integrated her there, and I wanted her to graduate from Dickinson. So
Okay.
we could have put her in CCIC, but you know,
You're
we wanted
Dickinson
her to be
alum,
here.
so-
Yes. So when we started looking around, we started here, and then we, you know, went to surrounding areas and things like that. But then we were like, we wanted to do it here, home.
Yeah.
This is home. No matter where we are, no matter where we go, Dickinson is our home.
I've heard a lot of that sentiment.
Yeah.
That you know, I'm not from here, but I've talked to a lot of people that are, and that's a
Yeah.
really it's kind of touching actually. A lot
Yeah.
of people really feel strongly about being here, and
It's-
it's a
it's
great thing
home.
for the
Yeah.
town.
I mean, he's lived here all of his life. I moved here in 7th grade, and that was the first time that I'm like, this is home.
Hmm.
And so and a lot of people said, why are you doing it in Dickinson? And my response was, why not? You know
Right.
what I mean? You know, and we started off just for the studio, and then an office for the event planning business, and then we decided to open up the boutique. And then people were really like,
Right.
why Dickinson? I'm like, well, because we don't have anything like this.
Right.
And why not? Let's do
Yeah.
something new.
Exactly.
But yeah, we got a lot of questions about it, even like our parents, so they were like,
Which that's that
"Oh."
perception thing that you
Yeah.
hear, and we got to try to combat that. What was it like working with the city? So sort of the the
Oh, yeah,
paperwork, the
let's
nuts
go.
and bolts.
Okay.
Like, so you know, you wanted to.
I'll be honest with you. If I were not married to James, I would have been in this bitch operating illegally. I didn't know you
You
had
would have
to
set up a tent on 517.
I didn't know you had to get all of these licenses
Oh, yeah.
and things like that. So he primarily dealt with them, thank God, because I was pure pissed off with just the process and appointments that were made and not
Yeah.
kept. And I'm like, look, he works in the Woodlands. You know, I have a kid I got to pick up. So when you say you're going to be here within a certain time frame, we're
Mhm.
waiting here. So I was not very happy. But he told me, Keisha, please don't go all angry black woman on these white people up here at City Hall. So I said, okay, that's why I married a white man. You take care of all that. So, James.
So I didn't have a lot of problems. It was just things weren't as I expected. So I'll give you an example.
Okay.
This building's been here for a while.
Yeah.
Right. And it's been a few different places, but it's been here for years and years. So when I went to get the permit for the occupancy, they said, "Do you have a drawing?" I'm like,
Of like the inside, what it would be
well,
like. Or,
yeah, exactly. And I'm like,
Uh-huh.
well,
You'll get a kick out of this.
I don't, but I assume the city engineering group department should have that because you had to have one for the last occupant and it
Uh-huh.
hasn't changed. Well, no, we don't really have a system for that. I said, okay, no problem. I'll make a drawing. What do you need? Well, you can just hand draw it.
Oh.
And I'm an engineer, so I did a full CAD workup on the whole place.
Yeah, they,
And
I mean,
I
we just
handed
wanted
to
something on
him-
tissue paper. I don't know.
Well, and I asked him, I said, well, don't you have anything from the past? Well, we don't really know what we had. It was like, you're an engineering group. You're the team that's
Yeah.
supposed to give permits and make sure things are safe and to
Yeah.
code and everything. I'm like, and you just would accept a hand-drawn picture.
Yeah.
Which
of
is
the
really
inside of
kind
the
of
building.
interesting. Usually what I hear is that people have problems that you know, it would be difficult to deal with it. It seems like in your case they were probably too permissive.
It was
just-
too permissive, and it was also trying to get to the right person to get the actual permit.
So maybe not real streamlined. I'm hearing at least. But
It was not a well-oiled process.
Yeah.
Now the fire marshal was on it.
Mhm.
Hey, I'll be here during this time frame. Was on time. Quick, did his inspection. This is what needs to be corrected. Scheduled to come back out here, and there was no problems. It was on. It was the day of. We waited for the other what was it? The building inspection.
Yeah.
Whatever the hell they do.
Yeah.
It was like a process of 2 days, and him saying, "Look, we've been waiting a couple
Oh,
of
yeah,
days.
yeah.
He said he was going to be here.
Right.
We didn't get a phone, and I am a stickler for time.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me pure mad because I think it's disrespectful. Because to me, you're not respecting someone else's time.
Well, at least get
Yeah.
a status. If it's gonna have to wait, say, hey, look,
Exactly.
it's gonna be a while.
Yeah.
Here's what to
Say
expect.
something.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of people said that too.
And it's not exactly like we're exploding with
Yeah.
new businesses and things
Right.
like that. So it's like you should have some free time.
I agree. We got to streamline some of this stuff and make it as easy as we can.
Well, and we need to. My opinion is we've cared more about trees and Dickinson being pretty.
That's on the next
No,
segment.
I
Be
know.
quiet.
I'm just saying.
Hush, stop. Turn your mic off.
We'll get to that.
He's
I
only
think-
just gonna
sorry.
keep going.
I think Dickinson Beautiful was probably the best idea that was the worst implemented and focused on, because it's been more important that you don't cut down a tree than that you entice new business and let League City kick our ass in every single growth metric. So,
First time I've heard that, but that's interesting.
well, I mean, because our family's had multiple businesses.
Uh-huh.
My sister's owned In Stitches.
Who?
Dad, yeah,
What?
sorry.
Why?
Um,
Huh?
And that was the problem over and over again. It was like, we need to make some changes. Well, you
Right.
can't cut down this tree, or you can't do this and this. I'm like, you're making it real hard for anybody to move into a place, make the changes needed for their business, because they're not, they're moving into a house that was 100 years old. You got to make some changes. No, I'm sorry, you can't. Dickinson Beautiful.
There's got to be a way to have a balance with that. I know you. I'll be quiet too. You got a question about
That's
that
okay.
later.
He
so.
just
Or
took
the
it
fact-
all over,
sorry,
you know what I'm saying? I thought it was a Libra Lounge Keisha, but
There's
I
been
guess
a hijack.
I guess
Call the police.
I
We've
guess
been-
it's the
we've been-
Pisces lounge with James.
Well, the other thing
Oh, he
is
just
that,
gonna keep going.
I'm sorry, we tend to care more about the buzzards because we have a full rookery here for it's a buzzard breeding ground. We tend to care more about the damn buzzards than we do about drainage, or at least enticing more business to come.
Did
I
you
mean,
say
that's-
rookery?
It's a rookery.
That's what you call it,
it
yeah.
is.
For bird. Yeah.
Yeah, for birds. It's a
I
rookery.
ain't never heard that
Yeah.
before. They must have just taught that to white people. I've never heard that.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kish.
Okay,
It's in the
so-
dictionary.
I did,
yeah.
Mike. I guess we missed that day in class because I ain't never heard it. I thought that was some shit James had made up. But on the flip side, you do have a very good point. So here's one. Okay, and there's a little bit of a story behind this. And Mike, anytime you have a question, want to jump in,
All right.
you know I would only allow you to do that.
Okay.
Okay, because I have mad respect for you. You're my boy.
Thank you.
What is your stance on the lack of female and minority-owned businesses in Dickinson?
Well, I think we need any business in Dickinson, and I think that female-owned business, minority-owned business would be great to get more of that. I think, in fact, you're somebody who's opened something up here.
Yeah.
I could see someone like you working closely with the EDC, which is the Economic Development Corporation. That's kind of that helps to develop business into town. Work with the Chamber of Commerce. I don't know if you've talked to Don King over there.
Yes, love her.
I've worked
Yeah.
with her a lot. She is great.
Yeah, she's great.
She's actually just got elected to be on the con board along with my wife over there. She's going to be fantastic. So
And she got
good
red
luck,
hair.
Dawn.
I love
She
women
does.
with red hair.
She is
She's
awesome.
a firecracker.
She's awesome. And I think that priority, we can get out there and do that. And we can use people like you that have come out here and done that to bring that up. So we need to encourage. I mean, it fits
We
right
should
in
be
with
encouraging it.
we should be encouraging it. And I just business period. I
Right.
mean,
Well,
but no, I hear you.
the reason why I did want to ask you that question, and it's very funny because we had a really big grand opening. We marketed it. It was very successful.
My wife came with
Your
my
wife
son,
was
and
here?
she loved. I was out knocking on doors.
Yes, your wife was here. Don was here. Many members of the chamber were here. But guess who was not? Not one member of city council.
Now, was that on election day?
No, it wasn't.
It
Was
wasn't. What
Was
day
it on
was
the-
it? Do you
no.
remember?
It was on April 27th.
Then no, it was not.
No, it was not.
I mean, I shouldn't be helping them there either, I guess. But
And they were all
It was-
invited.
well, It was a week before elections.
okay.
Yes.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah, I
because
was out
elections-
knocking on doors, and my wife had said, "I'm going to swing by
And she
that
did.
opening and
Mhm.
go over there." So
Yes. Don was here. Like I said, lots of members of the chamber. They weren't just here for a photo op. They stayed
Mhm.
and they shopped and we talked and we ate, we drank.
Mhm.
You know, it was. I felt supported, but I will be honest with you, and you know, I've got pretty tough skin. Was very hurt and very offended
that nobody
that not one person from city council
Yeah.
even bothered to show up, take a picture, say congratulations. I can't stay. Just wanted to show my face.
Yeah.
And I'm someone who graduated from Dickinson. My husband graduated from Dickinson. My daughter goes to school here in Dickinson. I'm on.
You're homegrown out here.
Yeah,
so,
you know,
yeah.
have been on several different committees and things like that. It was very hurtful.
Well, I don't care if you're from the moon. I mean, if you're going to open a small business here, that's
Yeah.
that's kind of the. I think that has to be the major path forward
Yeah.
for us here. Yeah, it's that's too bad. It's too
Yeah,
bad. And,
I was pure pissed off about it. You know, Dawn did say, she goes, "This is what we need. We need for people to see women opening up businesses. The fact that within our age group that
Mhm.
you guys said, you know what, we're gonna go back home and open up a business.
Mhm.
You know, it meant something to her what we're trying to do,
Yep.
and I love the fact that other girls, young girls, say, you know what, whether they open it up here or not, I can be a business owner. You know, we've got
Sure.
the all-female gym, Femme Fatale. You know, they're over there
my wife
kicking
goes
ass.
there too.
Yeah,
She's great out there.
it's
Sydney
it's
is great.
fantastic,
Mhm.
and it's just like I felt no support from the city.
We should have planted a tree.
We
That
probably
would've
should
been
have
it.
planted a damn tree.
That would have got the mayor here.
I mean, we pet the damn peacocks. Is that not good enough?
Well, those are pests apparently.
Oh, if they do something to the peacocks, oh, we're gonna riot. Okay, all right. So we're gonna take a break. When we come back, we're gonna go talk some more with Sean, and then y'all know we haven't had a bitch please in a minute, but we've got a very good bitch please for you guys tonight. So we'll be right back. Hey guys, it's Keisha, the host of the Libra Lounge with Keisha podcast and web series. If you follow me on social media, you know that the Million Harris is one of the sponsors of the show. I've told you all about the great hair products for both men and women that they have, but I wanted to give you an opportunity to actually see some of their hair bundles. Here they are. What I did was I ordered both 20 and 22-inch Malaysian bundles and a frontal from the Million Harris and took them to my stylist and had her make this unit. Yes, this is actually a lace front unit made from the bundles I purchased at the Million Harris. I usually don't wear this much hair extensions, nor do I wear it this long, but I really, really love it. The hair feels amazing. It looks great. I've been getting compliments everywhere that I go. So make sure to go to her website or stop by the shop and get your order on. She's got hair products, bundles, and mink lashes. Make sure to use my discount code Libra20 for 20% off your total purchase. All right, we're back. Y'all know I'm quite selfish with the mic, but I'm going to give Mike an opportunity to ask Sean Skipworth, who's running for position 2, City Council, some questions.
All right, like they were saying, Dickinson is home to me, even though I haven't lived here in a while. I still have friends and relatives that live here, so it's always top of my list of my concerns. I do want to commend you because I always see a lot of people, especially on social media, want to gripe about local government,
Yeah.
the DMV, your different government agencies, and they seem to forget that we are the government. So if we want to change it, it needs to be us
Yep.
that does it because that is us. So
I
thank you,
agree.
thank
I
you
agree.
for
Thanks.
doing that and wanting to
Appreciate it.
improve my
Appreciate
old hometown. So one thing I want to mention is that maybe the city can look into becoming a historically underutilized business zone. I know
Mhm.
Tech City is one. That's through the Small Business Administration, and I don't know the process of how to get get qualified.
That's worth looking at,
yeah, that's
yeah.
a city thing, because what that does, that attracts businesses to come into your town and set up shop, and they get to participate and set aside contracts with
Mhm.
the government at the federal level. So part of getting businesses here is having space for them, and I haven't seen too many buildings here that could have an office space with
Mhm.
a whole wired building with
Right.
plenty of room for cubicles and stuff. Is there
Right.
anywhere that can actually have that kind of a building built, or do any exist?
I guess it would really depend on what the specific needs were. I mean, I guess a good thing, silver lining is after the flood, there's some vacant storefronts, for instance, which we need to get filled. I mean, if you drive down here, down 517 this way, there's where the cake shop and the bookstore used to be.
Mhm.
Those are still vacant, been vacant
Right.
for some time. I mean, I would think there's some areas that could certainly be converted to a purpose, but we do have to actually, as a city, work with the chamber here, work with other groups, and go out and find those things. And we need like a good plan, like a good, a good pitch to give to these businesses. Like,
Mhm.
here's the master plan for Dickinson. Here's where you would play into it. Here's things we do in terms of incentives, permits, etc. Here's how we go, and we need to do what we can. We're trying to get them in, so we've got to be as inviting as we can, and show them we got our blank together. No comment
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
but that
Shit
we've got it
together.
together,
Yeah,
but
I'll say it for
that
you.
we've got things together. So
Well, in locations like that, I know that location specifically, that was flooded in Harvey, that was flooded in Ike, that was flooded in Allison. At a certain point, do we have to ask ourselves, we need to just stay away from some of these
that's been a big
locations?
question, really a lot at the federal level with FEMA and what they'll give money to rebuild, right? Is if you're in some area that's flooded. I think if it floods, I want to say twice or three times, something like that. At some point, there's supposed to be a rule that they don't allow you to build there again. I might be wrong about the specifics of that, but that's of course a big conversation that's been going on. But I mean, there was recently a woman who spoke at the last city council meeting who was upset about a grant program to allow houses to be raised, for instance, and there was apparently like an administrative deadline for a specific program that the city just kind of missed, didn't file the paperwork. Now that's not to say there's not other programs, but she was pretty fired up about it, and I can certainly understand that. And we can look at things like that, but we do have to kind of be on the ball and get that done. But yeah, we had some area that's flooded a million times. I mean, can we raise it? I mean, we need to do that eventually. I mean, it's going to be no one will ever insure it, or it's going to get flooded out, and they're not going to give any money to rebuild it. And
Yeah, I know specifically. I'm in that Facebook group. I think it's a Talk Around
there's a
Dickinson.
bunch.
Talk
Yeah,
Around Dickinson,
we
yeah.
have a ton
Yeah.
of those.
Yeah,
We sure
and
do.
there's people always talking about Bio Chantilly, and
Yeah.
I had a friend when I was in college who actually lived there,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember she flooded out, and that's another another
At
neighborhood. This was
Or
no,
another storm.
this was Allison.
Allison,
This
okay.
this is way back. So I'm just wondering, I mean, I hate to see people lose their homes, but at a certain point, that neighborhood might just need to be repurposed to something else when people can afford to move. Or
I certainly elevation programs that to look at, and I'm going to express some ignorance. I don't know specifically what the city has done in terms of working with FEMA on that, beyond this woman talking about the program that was missed. But certainly we've got to figure out, do we need to raise these areas? Do we need to put something else in there? I mean, it's a conversation to have, but I think first thing to do is to do whatever you can to keep people in their homes where they are.
Yeah.
And you should, displacing people should be some absolute last resort. But yeah, I think we need to look more right now at what can we do to raise homes or divert drainage somehow or whatnot.
Does the city have a grant writer or use any?
Yeah, I have looked. Someone asked me this question before, and I looked through the city directory, and I couldn't find a grant writer in there. I'm not sure how grants are written at present. My guess would be it'd be the city administrator.
Okay.
That might
Who
be
is
some.
that, Chris Hurd?
Yes, yeah,
Chris Hurd is the city administrator.
that's right.
Mm.
He tends to be a when I go around to houses, that's flip a coin. That people love him or they hate
He's
him.
not a fan favorite. I'll
Okay.
just say that.
Okay.
Um,
But my guess is that he's probably who's writing the grants at the moment.
Okay.
But there could be a grant writer. But like I say, I've looked through the city directory. I haven't found one. If we don't, I think having a full time or a temp full time or something might be warranted, especially now given what's going on to do that. I know at COM at the College of Mainland, they of course have grant writers and they use a lot of grants. And I've seen the value of that there, and might be something to consider for us.
Yeah.
See what we can do. So.
You know, something that has come up, I'm trying to think of the right way to say it, but I guess I just have to say it. So if you think back to Katrina
Mm-hmm.
and the areas that were just completely wiped out,
Yeah.
it was like New Orleans wanted that to be gone. I think a lot of people feel as though Harvey came and we have a certain demographic of people here,
Mm-hmm.
you know, on certain income base that feel as though the city of Dickinson wanted us to be gone.
I've heard that sentiment expressed.
Yeah, like they want the avenues gone, the stuff on Deeds, California.
Yeah.
Dickinson
heard
wants
that.
all of that to be gone so that it looks more like this side of.
Gentrification. That's
Yeah,
that's what you're looking for.
Do you think there's any truth to that? And if that's something that you're not comfortable
You know,
answering,
I
understand.
I would be completely comfortable answering that question, but I can't look inside of somebody's
Oh, of
soul
course,
and
yeah.
see their motivations.
Right.
I really don't. I don't know what anybody's motive about anything
Right.
is. I do know. Take California, that area as an example. The roads over there, it is ridiculous.
Horrible.
Yes. When
Yes.
I went over there, block walking,
Did you trip
my
and
blood
fall?
pressure went up. Oh,
yeah,
no.
it's horrible.
My blood pressure went up because these are easily some of the worst streets in the city, maybe in several city areas. And those people over there are the working class, the
Yes.
working poor,
Mhm.
a lot of trailer homes and things
Mhm.
over there,
Yeah.
and people talking about, messing up their car suspension with potholes that are. I mean, these are
They're
these are like streets in a
bad.
third world country.
Yes,
I mean,
it's
and that is
bad.
not hyperbole. I'm being real
No,
honest.
he's telling
They-
the truth. It's bad. Like you.
And it really
Yeah.
upset me to see, I would say some that are least equipped to deal with the consequences of that be that
Exactly.
way. And it's pretty clear that those roads have needed work for a long time.
Long time.
And I've seen some roads done in other areas that have been concreted that are not high traffic,
Yeah.
and we could put that same work into an area like that, and
Yeah.
and just helping more people. Forget the
Yeah.
poverty part of it, just
Yeah.
making more people happy at a time. But
Yeah.
we got to be equitable with these street repairs, and we can't just say California. We'll get
Yeah.
to it one day.
And that's
Um,
how, that's how people are feeling,
I have definitely gotten that
Yeah.
that sentiment. Yeah.
It's like the wrong and the right side of the track.
Is that also the same road where I hear there's like telephone poles lying down the ditches for like years?
I've heard trees growing. I've seen, and I'm talking trees growing out of ditches.
Wow.
Not like saplings, like good sized trees. There's some bad neglect of the main
tree
thoroughfare.
grow out of a.
Well, if they get over 2 inches around, you can't cut them down. That's a rule.
Because we got to keep Dickinson beautiful.
Yes.
So,
Just not the roads,
You
right?
can tell I have a real personal issue.
gonna
with
say,
all
you
of
feel
it.
strongly about this
He
one.
feels very strongly about that. Now, here's something that I feel very, very, very strongly about is Bayou Animal Services.
Uh-huh.
Now, I just want to make this clear. Before and after Hurricane Harvey, these people have done a phenomenal job.
Mhm.
But the work that they did during Hurricane Harvey was phenomenal. Made national news. They were covered by, was it the Animal Channel or was it Nat Geo? It was
Either
one
one.
of them.
It was big.
It
national
was
coverage.
big, okay? These people, I love animals. I mean, if he gave me a choice between him and animals, it's a no-brainer. It's the animals all day.
Well,
I love them.
People are animals, technically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you had these families that were trying to evacuate,
Mm-hmm.
but they look at their animals as family members. Literally, Bayou Animal Services took their animals, gave these people their personal cell phone numbers,
Wow.
so that they could call and check on their animals. And not only that, they found foster homes for these animals while the owners were displaced, and so they can come back home. And
We had to
be
foster
reunited.
several of our
Yeah.
pets.
So
with
they
friends.
reunited,
That's great.
families, because I don't care what people say. Animals, they're my family. Okay. Now, I don't know if you have been to the facility where they're at.
So actually, maybe you saw or anybody saw the Facebook. I had a post about this for a while. We were at the Dickinson ISD Foundation
Oh,
ball,
you're adopted a dog.
and we bought we won the auction for the shelter dog.
Okay.
Allie, right? And so it was Gator. We went with Alligator.
Alligator. Oh, that's so cute.
Gator, Alligator, like
Oh,
James
that's
Bond, right?
cute.
We
I
should
like
have-
that.
So anyway, so we did that, and as part of that, we went over there and they gave her some medicine and stuff. And so I drove over there by there when we right after we gotten her. So yeah, I've been over there. Yeah.
It's a dump.
Yep, it's not great.
It's not even fair to call it a dump. It's horrible. And I've been to other local shelters, and the amount of work that Sarah and her crew do, they're underpaid. There's a lot of volunteers, and these people are just passionate about these animals, and the funding is low.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, Mike, I'm sure you and I have probably seen every horror movie that's out there. Where they are, it looks like the breeding ground for Freddy Krueger and Jason.
You could
it's
use
fucking
it, you could
horrible.
use it as like a shooting location in a horror
It's
movie.
just you really could, and it's I don't even know.
It's bad over
It's
there.
horrible.
Just you drive up, it's just all this gravel road.
Oh,
and-
and then you go in there. It's no one should be in there. No animal should be in there. But that's where they were placed. They're trying to get into a
which
new
I think
facility.
they take good care of them. I mean, it's
They do
The
wonderful.
building's not great. I don't think they're being mistreated or anything like that,
no. Sarah and her people, they are on it. They are all about these animals. They devote countless hours on and off the clock to these animals. But I don't think that they should have to even work there.
Yeah,
and I don't think the animals should be there either. They're trying to get into a new facility. They have some money, but they need a lot more money. Do you think that this should be high up on a priority list to get them in a new facility?
Well, I'll tell you, they I think it was maybe 2 city council meetings ago, maybe 3. I think they have poured the foundation for a new building. Actually, I think it's already it's already underway.
The frame is there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's my understanding. I can go back and check to verify, but I think it's been funded. Like it's going to be built.
But here's the thing: it being built is one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But all the things that they need.
You're talking about maintaining it,
maintaining
and
it,
getting
and
materials
yes.
okay.
So there's a lot more money that needs to go into there, and they're not just rescuing dogs and cats. I mean, when there's a possum problem,
right,
they get called.
Right.
When there's I think my child's gonna be mauled problem, they call them. Oh, there's a squirrel in the tree. I kid you not. They get calls like that. There's a squirrel in the tree. I need y'all to come out here. They get that. When I go there, that phone rings nonstop, and they're
Right.
so severely understaffed. James, like producer James, I can see you want to say something.
No, I definitely agree they are, but Dickinson doesn't have a city animal services group, as far as I know.
Yeah, I believe
like an
that's. I
actual-
think you're right.
Yeah, so I think they function in that way, but I don't think they get any city, state, or any type of government funding to do that job.
Again, this is one I would have to look at the
Sure,
budget.
yeah.
I don't want to give an answer to
Right.
that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I've heard people talk like you are very passionately, and I've had others say critically say that given the problems we have, they don't like the idea that we're building an animal, that we're spending money on an animal shelter. And I think with a lot of things, the balance, it's somewhere in between, right?
Mhm.
That as far as making a new building, man, it looks like it's overdue, right?
Be
and-
well overdue.
And so it's good that they're doing that. So I don't anything with a budget. It comes down to how much are we talking about? How much do we have available? It's hard without hard numbers. It's always hard to look. I think if we can have that be a priority, if there's something we throw that way, and we should. But actually, I feel like that James is right. That I think that is it's kind of a thing funded outside somehow, or that they're self-sufficient.
Yeah, it's a sad and depressing situation,
is.
and such good people. I mean, since we've been here, we at our grand opening we had an adoption
Yeah.
What is it called?
Yeah, I think my wife said we're not getting a kitten or something.
Yeah,
but
we
my
had
son,
kittens
no, we're
and
not doing that.
dogs. You know, I think we got one dog adopted. And then I think another Saturday, I was like, hey, we're there. You want us to come pick up animals that, you know, and
Right.
start posting it? Now, granted, I probably wasn't the best babysitter. You know, we had 2 kittens. Me and my daughter fed them bacon. I didn't know that bacon made kittens have explosive diarrhea.
Oh,
How was I supposed
I'm
to
sure
know?
you discovered that pretty quickly.
Well, he discovered it because
That's all that matters, that you didn't have to discover it, that somebody else did.
Oh, Sean, but they got it everywhere, all over. So we cleaned them up, and you know they did get
Who did?
adopted
No,
don't
don't
okay,
say we.
James. Okay, you know
Who
it's-
had to give
That's a
2
minor
kittens
detail. That's a
baths?
minor detail.
Which is
I was dealing
impossible.
with a customer who's making a sale, making us money. You know, so he
To buy
cleans
new
them up.
carpet after the kittens.
Well, thank God they were in their crate. So he cleans them up, and you know they didn't get adopted that day, so we were taking them back. And the other brother decided, you know, I want to be like him, so I'm gonna have explosive diarrhea as well. And man,
Why
they
not?
talked shit the whole time, and when we got there, I'm like, only I would give the animals diarrhea. I'm so sorry. I mean, they basically took a bath in it. So, just you know, if there's anything that we can do, they really need city council support big time to get what they need and what they deserve. So before we go into this commercial break, why do you think people should vote for you?
Well, I think that what we need here, you know, going back to the beginning, is we need some professionalism. We need some planning. I think what you all recounted with getting the business set up here, you're going to find that that's something that goes on here regularly. That we know what we need to do, and we're just not quite doing it. And so I think you need some professionalism to deal with that. And I think I'm the person to help do that. Over at the college, so I teach political science, so I have some knowledge about government, but also I worked on the executive cabinet over there. And really, you know, a college is a governmental entity. Actually, the budget's larger than the cities over there. And I worked, you know, closely with the president, the vice presidents. We were making policy, looking at budgeting, effective planning, goal setting, and we just haven't done those things here. We just haven't. And I also think that we need somebody kind of from the outside. I haven't lived here my whole life. And I think it's good to have people that have lived here forever and are dedicated, but you also need some outside perspectives on things. And I think I bring that. I think, as I've shown, that I've spent a lot of time. My campaign has been based on going around, knocking on doors, talking to folks. And that's not something I plan on just doing during the campaign. You see that a lot with people that run, right? So they're running and I drew a challenger. I got to get out and go talk to people. And they say, where have you been? And you can't do that. And you've got to stay out in the community, be visible, go to the people. I think if we keep in contact with the public, we let them know what's going on, we see what they're willing to do, where they want to go, and then we can explain to them, hey, here's the deal. We need to, you know, maybe we need a bond to deal with drainage and roads. Here's why we need it. Here's what it would cost. We just need to talk about what you're willing to do and where we want to go and what to expect. But if we can keep a relationship like that, we can talk to people, we can set goals, be professional, do these things, attract them business. You know, I think I'm the person to do that, and that's why I'm running.
So if you're elected, you're going to be more visible than going to the Red, White, and Blue Festival and the Homecoming Parade, correct?
Yeah, I mean, you know, so going to these events, it's good to go to those, but you can't go.
That's not all that your position.
No.
Your position requires you to do some work.
It isn't just going to council meetings and stuff. It's going around and knocking on doors occasionally. What's going on? Posting stuff on
You
social
might not
media.
have to. You might have to go to the hood. And,
Yeah,
you know, those are citizens of Dickinson as well.
I have gone to every, I don't know, I'd say every street, but
You
I
was
would
in the
say
hood, Sean?
almost every part of town, easily
You
every
were down
part
with
of
the
town.
people?
Oh, I've been down, you know, off Highway 3 over there, California, the west side, Highway 3
West
also,
Side?
west side.
Well,
I've been all
I
over.
will say this. I have a friend who is actually your opponent.
I see, okay. Well,
He
it's
ain't-
been nice, but I'll talk to you later, I guess.
He ain't been over here to my shop. You have. So, you know, I'm just saying, y'all, just look who's here. Look who's not here.
No comment.
That's all. No comment. So when we get back, I'm going to award the Bitch Please of the Week. And Sean's also going to tell us the next voting opportunity for everyone. So we'll be right back. really brought it
I think that's real.
This is real.
I think that's real. I think I'm bleeding. I don't know.
I can't-
No, I'm not bleeding.
It's real. He ain't getting this back. How much do you think I could get for this at a pawn shop?
You know, they just passed
I
that
wouldn't
law.
let
You can
you.
carry a sword and open in Texas now. So,
Are you serious?
oh
Did
yeah,
you just make that up?
no, the political science here. So no, you can carry a broadsword or something like that in the open in Texas. So,
Mike ain't getting this back.
I mean,
It's heavy.
I mean, if you can carry an AR-15 on the beach, why can't you
You-
carry a
yeah.
broadsword? I guess so.
You want to
that's
hold
what
it
they were
before he
thinking.
gets back?
Sure. Let me see here. I don't want to embarrass myself.
Because I think Mike is a little bit of a germaphobe, so he's
It's
gonna
got
like.
got some
He
weight
caught
on
us
there.
talking about him.
She gave it to me,
Alright,
Dale.
alright.
Nah, that's cool.
We didn't realize that was really real.
The blade's not real. It's like aluminum or something.
Oh, well, I
It's-
was saying that
yeah.
there's a.
It's-
They
it's
passed a
heavy.
law you can carry like a broadsword in public now. So
Oh, really?
don't sweat it. You know, you're good.
All right, so Sean, tell everyone, how they can follow you on social media as far as your campaign,
Yeah.
ask you questions, and when the next voting opportunity will be.
Yeah, great. So I have a Facebook page. It's and maybe I can share it with you after this. And
Okay.
you want to put it on your page? And
Absolutely.
I shared your this event on there.
Yes.
You do the @ sign on Facebook. Sean
We know how to do
SEAN.
it, Sean. We know
I'm
how
just
to do it,
telling everybody
Sean.
else. I know you know how to do it. I'm talking to them. It's Sean the number 4 Dickinson. And that's the tag on there.
So
Then
it's number 4.
number 4.
Okay.
4 Dickinson. You know.
4
Position
Dickinson.
2, but 4 Dickinson.
Got
So-
you. Okay. And so when is the next voting?
So it's a runoff election. So I was first place in the general election. I was 12 votes short of avoiding a runoff. You have to get to 50%. So
Okay.
48.79%. So
Damn.
close, so close.
That's so close.
So this is the runoff election, the final deal. So the early voting starts next Tuesday, so the day after Memorial Day, and it starts at the Dickinson Community Center, 8 to 5.
Mhm.
Then they'll do it Monday and Tuesday the next week, 7 to 7, same place.
So
Election day the 8th
So
at City Hall.
quick question before
Mhm.
we get into the bitch please of the week. If you could see me ever holding a political office, what position do you think I should hold?
Empress.
This my dog.
Of America.
Sean, you can come over to the barbecue.
You stole her vote from your
cookout.
friend.
I mean, this my dog right here. Like, I'm not even kidding, because that's exactly
There
what
you
I
go.
would have said.
There you go. See?
You my kind of people, Sean. And I have to say this, that my daughter does dual credit with College of the Mainland,
I teach a lot of that.
and she loves her professors so much.
We're pretty awesome. We try to be.
Yeah.
At least
And
we
she's-
like to imagine we do this up here. That's what we're doing. We're like these personalities up there. We're usually not, but we like to pretend we are.
And Stephen Romolino, that's my boy.
Yeah,
he
I-
teaches over there. Hi, Mr. Romolino.
Saw him a couple weeks ago.
I see him all the
Just-
time.
He
Yeah.
cracks me up. I love him.
the time.
So thank you for everything you're doing there.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for trying to set some new goals and fix things here, Dickinson. I appreciate that a lot. And here's another reason
Okay.
why I like you. Go ahead and do the bitch please. Yeah, we're gonna do that intro real quick.
Bitch, please. You be rolling down the street, telling stories. Bitch, you never tell the truth. Bitch, please. Everybody know you lying, bitch, cause all you do is lie.
Alrighty, so Mike, go ahead and stand up so everyone can see your whole get up.
Dun 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 dun.
I've been working on this costume for a Halloween costume for like 10 years now.
And you got to here is the first time that it's completed?
I wore part of it one year with my son going trick or treating,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm still missing a few pieces. I need to add to it, but
Mike, every time I'm around you, I just love you a little bit more. And who would have ever thought that you and I would be such a dynamic duo?
I'm sure everybody.
Maybe I guess so. All right, so the bitch please of the week is going to be awarded to the series finale of Game of Thrones. The whole goddamn episode is the bitch please of the week. But I will say this. When you and I were emailing and I said, hey, are you a Game of Thrones fan? And you were like, yeah, I'm like, I like him.
Boy, am I.
So, we're going to do a speed version of the breakdown of this final season, the season that took 55 years to come. Because I mean, really, I was like, "Damn, is it? I mean, what is taking so long? Is the budget cuts or what the hell?" So we finally got the season. What is it? Season 8?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We had fewer episodes, correct? We were kind of had vision issues after that one episode. I literally, I was like, James, what's wrong with the brightness on the TV? Then we were cleaning our glasses, and James's heart rate was going up. He was this close to the screen. And I'm just like, I can't see anything. And he's like, maybe it's our TV. Then we go on social media, and everybody's fucked up. Everyone's like, I got to go see the eye doctor tomorrow. I need a stronger prescription for my glasses or something. I can't see. So let's break down the final season of Game of Thrones. Sean or James or Mike, which one? Who's gonna go
I've
first?
been talking a while.
Here's the
go
reason
before.
I'm going to be kind of coattailing a little bit because I can never remember the people's names on the show.
There's a lot of characters on
There's
the
a
show.
lot of characters
so-
on the show, and I get confused, and then I mispronounce the name. So take it away, white boy Rick.
All right, I'll just say in one summarizing statement, season 8 was the season that Jon Snow became a complete bitch.
Yeah,
Became a side character, not a main one anymore.
he was pussy whipped by his
It
aunt.
was-
By his aunt.
By his aunt.
It was a shame. Him being a hero like he was throughout the entire series, and just falling apart. Couldn't do anything right. Couldn't do anything.
Now he did ride a dragon.
Yeah,
We got to give him some points for that.
yeah, but it was
His
basically
dragon
a
was
horse.
killed, but he still did
Yeah.
ride the dragon, right? Okay.
He was marginalized a lot, and a lot of people have said that was a problem. I mean, he did kill Daenerys, but that was kind of the simplest thing
Yeah.
he could have done.
Yeah.
That's all he did.
I think that it would have been better if they would have been having sex
And he killed her in
and
the
he
middle
killed her in the
Oh,
middle
my
of it.
gosh.
That would have been a lot better than how it went down. Okay. I will say this, when they did have the battle, what's the one against the Night King?
Arya?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, this was her
Yeah.
season. She stole this
Yes,
season.
she did. She did.
She was bad. She
Yeah.
had me practicing the whole drop the knife in the other hand, strap.
Why am I not surprised? Not at all.
Don't act like you didn't do it.
You don't know me.
Is your foot healed up from that?
So, yes, Arya, no one saw that coming. You know what I mean? Here's my thing. I've never been a fan of Bran.
Bran?
Bran?
Yeah, because I was
Aisling.
going to say there's Braun and Bran. So.
Right. Yeah, they just literally changed one letter. Okay, so Bran, first of all, he fucked it up. Hodor got killed because of him. Okay. Then, Bran didn't do shit but sit in his chair. That's it. But he's supposed to have these I can see that I'm the memory. I can do this. I can do that. Show us, Bran. What can you do besides give side eye? And
Well, he saw
stink eye.
he saw into the past. I mean, that was
Yeah.
the highlight of his career. He saw the past.
Ooh.
That was it. Yeah.
It didn't help anybody.
No, we never got the payoff on Bran.
Here's another thing: the Night King. When it all comes down to it, why? What was it? What?
Yeah,
Why?
the theme for the show is winter is coming, and
Yes.
while I liked how they had Arya do that, I thought it was great. It was the execution really was not great though. That it was this big thing that was built up, and it kind of was. Well, we took care of him in that episode. It was just dark. Like man, he was kind of a
Yes.
chump, as they put it, right?
Exactly.
So-
You're
so,
like,
yeah.
like all these people got killed, and the Night King.
didn't.
That's it.
It seemed
yeah,
like
that's true too.
They really did okay.
Yeah.
None of the main
Yeah.
characters they tended to be okay,
mhm.
except Jorah, and then the Dothraki.
and-
I guess they
didn't
actually made it, though they
Well,
looked
yeah,
like they
here's-
all died in the first.
Yeah.
exactly right. They made it look like we lost every
Except
Did
for the
all-
women.
Did
no,
you
no,
watch
there was some of the horse riders that ran back.
There were.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
very
not that
few.
many, like they showed in the end.
Right, but compared to the number of people that it looked like died,
Oh, there was
at
a
the
bunch
battle,
at
the
the
Battle
end.
of Winterfell. All of a sudden, you've got like every Unsullied back in King's Landing, all the
Mhm.
Dothraki back. Like all of a sudden, where the hell did all these people come from?
It's like they thought
If
we
we-
forgot.
If we were supposed to accept
Mhm.
massive losses
Right.
at the Battle of Winterfell.
Well, and after the episode, one of the showrunners he said, "This is the end of the Dothraki." And then,
yeah,
and then they're
then
just,
we
and
saw
then
him
they're
again,
back.
And they're all
yeah.
there.
And then they're back. So I don't know.
Well, you know, what is the Red Witch?
Melisandre.
Melisandre.
Sandra.
Man, she's whack. Everything that she says, oh, this is gonna happen. None of that shit happened. You know, oh, I'm gonna. Come on.
It
Okay,
did.
look.
So she said Arya was going to kill the Night King.
Okay.
And then the
okay.
whole deal with John.
Yeah,
And then she
but-
came and resurrected him.
Okay, but hear me out. Hear me out.
But she sure gave the Dothraki a false sense of security.
Yeah, she fucked that all the way up. I mean, she lit up all of their little sword.
See,
Whatever
that's where
those things
Bran should
were.
have said, "Don't do that." I
Yeah.
looked into the future.
Thank you, Sean. He'd be like, it would have been more like, I wouldn't do that if I was
It's
you.
a bad idea.
Yeah,
No
that's
one's listening
bad.
to
No,
me.
don't do it. But no, he was too busy giving Jamie the stink eye. You know, I'm just like, Bran, like, dude, what? Don't even push his chair anymore, y'all. It's just like he's not. I don't know.
Yeah, but as Sansa said, Jamie broke his willy. So yeah, I'd be giving the stink eye dude who broke my willy too.
Yeah, you know what? But I will tell you
She
this.
called him out.
She had no problem calling him out
No.
in front of everybody that he can't bear children.
Yeah. But I will say that moment when Jamie saw Bran, I like that. I like
Yeah,
that. That
he
was
kinda
all
did
like,
the-
ooh, yeah. He was
Yeah, I
like,
pushed you out a window.
I'm a nice
Yeah.
guy now, but sorry.
Bran was like, it would have been better if Bran would have been like, bitch, you didn't think you was ever gonna see me again, now did you? You know? Okay, so the Red Witch, yeah, she kind of sucked. But I will tell you this: it was a great loss to us all when little Lyanna
Oh,
Yeah.
was killed.
Oh,
But
yeah.
she went out like a straight G.
Yeah,
she did.
She really did. She is by far one of the best characters.
she was
From
pretty
that
awesome.
series.
Yep.
Yeah, she
She
was
was great.
badass. You know, although I am a huge fan of Sam's because I feel like,
Mhm.
you know, every hero needs a Sam.
You're like a wizard.
You know, yeah, yes, you know, Frodo needed his Sam, John needed his Sam, but Sam just didn't really do that much. He was kind of like a silent cheerleader in the back. Go team, go! But I'm gonna hide over here. You know, Lyanna was a G.
Well, if you hadn't healed Jorah, though, then, you know,
You just remember every goddamn thing.
I watched the
You're-
show too many times.
I'm like, he's bringing up something like, oh yeah, that did happen.
Yeah.
I need to fact check things with
Yeah,
you and
well,
Mike.
but-
Well, like you said, the show's so complicated. So many characters.
yes, yes, it is.
But he cured him by reading, right? I mean, that was.
Yeah. He's a wizard.
Yeah.
Like a wizard.
And I still like Sam. You know, I'm very happy that he and Gilly are having a baby. Daenerys.
Best heel turn since Hulk Hogan.
Oh,
You know what, though?
man.
I don't completely disagree with her actions. I don't.
Come on,
no,
Mike.
No. They
I
were
blame Jon Snow.
yes, but they were at war. Cersei knew what was coming. Cersei should have just given up. Okay, she wanted to be a G. She thought she was bad.
Yeah.
She thought she could take down a dragon with her brother-loving.
Just standing
Yeah,
there looking.
Yeah. Okay. So you took her friend. You beheaded her.
Yeah,
Threw her
that's
off the
horrible.
top of that tower.
Yeah.
You could have surrendered long before that, but no, you wanted to play.
Yeah.
You're gonna play with fire. You're gonna get burned, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And those people who she burned, yeah, it sucks. There was women and children, right? But
Yeah.
those are the
Yeah,
same
got
people.
it, Mike.
Those, no, hold on. Those are the same people who were laughing and cheering when Ned got beheaded in the first season.
Which she was saying,
Yeah.
don't do that, right? So she
That's
basically
true.
made the same mistake that he did, right? Just being brutal.
Mhm.
That's true. You know.
I think the problem with that too is execution, though, right? That I can agree with the narrative choice of having Daenerys become crazy. I can
Yeah.
agree with these choices. I like Arya doing what she did, but the seasons were so short that what was really good about this show was that the writing was excellent, the storytelling was great, and they just, had no, they tried to condense it all into these
Yeah.
$10 million episodes, but you need time, and they just
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't build it up properly. It
No.
could have been really fulfilling.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, the final episode was just lackluster.
I liked the final episode if I imagine that they'd done a better job before. Like, I can like how it all ended, but they
Right.
just didn't build it up right to get us there.
I just think they fucked Jon Snow over,
Well, so
like big time.
yeah, so here's an example. So remember how many times Jon Snow stood up for what was good, like went
Mhm.
through hardships, even died for
Yeah.
what was to him good. But for him to, say no to Daenerys
hmm
on the night before the battle,
hmm
all of a sudden, if he had just banged her, I don't think
Yeah.
we would have had the same kind of problem. Because
I agree.
because-
She needed a good dicking.
well, it was
She had a lot of sexual frustration pent
well,
up.
Well, no, she was alone, And remember
Yes,
what?
yes.
And remember what Mr. Aemon said in like season 2 or 3.
I don't remember that.
He said
I
a
don't know.
Targaryen
You
alone in the
remember it,
world
don't you?
is a terrible thing. And she was at
Oh.
that point. That
She
was the
felt
last.
alone.
Because it wasn't until he backed up from the kiss when she said, "Okay, I'll rule by fear."
But then she still had, what's the girl's name? Masinde? I
No,
just
that-
call
no,
her the
no,
only
no,
black
that was
girl on
after
the show.
Missandei
That was
dead.
She was
after.
dead.
Oh,
No.
okay.
This
yeah.
was like the
So
night
she was
before
more
he
alone
left.
because she didn't
Yeah.
have her
Right.
either.
John was
Right.
the last hope for her to be like have somebody or some moral direction, and he backed off.
See, they
Right.
should have played that line at the beginning of the show, how they, when they do the recap from before and they throw in.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
should
that
have
would have
done
been
that.
helpful. Yeah, that because me and Mike don't remember any of that.
I don't remember
No,
no
I
Maester
don't remember
Oh,
that.
yeah, that was,
no.
Yeah, that was when John was trying to make a decision to go with Rob.
Okay.
And lead the Night's Watch,
Mhm.
and Master Aemon was telling him all of those things.
I choked up a lot. I won't even lie. When Tyrion went in and he found his brother and sister, it was pretty sad.
It was sad, but I also like some of the memes where they would show where Tyrion was standing. If
Mhm.
they had just hugged 5 feet to the right, they would have survived because there was no rubble like 5 feet to the right of where they were. Like they stood in the perfect spot to get crushed in that one spot.
Maybe it shifted in the meantime.
Were y'all
Yeah.
were y'all upset about how anticlimactic Cersei's death was?
No, because I told James before, because we both each had theories on how she was going to die. I said, nope, Jamie is either going to have to kill her or they're going to die together, and they died together.
Well, what gets me is, remember, so they did this flashback. It was like season 6 where she's a teenager and she goes to talk to that witch out in the woods.
Right.
Yeah,
And this whole
negative
thing
karma.
about your child is going to kill you. And the writers, I guess, were like, all right,
But
forget
that no
that.
one's going to remember except for John and Sean.
And it
I
was-
mean, for
and it
James.
was
I keep
bizarre.
calling you John.
But it was
Well, they were,
bizarre.
yeah. Well, they were, well,
Like 3 times.
yeah, I know you call me John
I
a
don't
few
know
times.
what's wrong.
So,
I'm getting it confused. You know what? It's a combo of Sean and James.
yeah, Sean John.
Yeah.
Um,
No, that just made
Well,
that
one
shit
of the things
up
about the
real
show
quick.
was that the way they treated prophecies. So, in some ways, they'd give prophecies a little bit of credence. Other ways, they were just ignored. And they made the point of prophecies are a really funny thing. So, yeah, even though all of her kids died and she wasn't killed by the little brother, which was the
Or she was pregnant. I thought maybe it'd be something to do with that.
It-
with the
but-
pregnancy, yeah.
maybe so. So it was. The only part I liked was they humanized her, and they're really good at this. They're really good at taking someone you can't stand and, like, in their last moments, making you feel a little something. Because to see her just break down, crying, begging, was so un-Cersei-like. It made me feel just for a second, and then I'm like, okay, good. Now bring the rocks down.
Yeah, it had to be that way for Cersei and Jamie. I mean, you share uterus together, you fuck together, you have kids together, gotta die together, right?
I didn't see the point of having Jaime fight Euron Greyjoy. That was stupid.
No, that was so
Yeah,
contrived. And I
yeah.
showed up.
Yeah.
That was really
Yeah, that
poorly
was
done.
dumb.
Yeah, it just you know what? I felt like they went to maybe a college theater class, story writing class for amateurs. Said, you know what, guys? We're tired, you know.
Who cares about Euron Greyjoy?
Yeah,
Yeah,
why
he
don't
should've
y'all write
just
the
died
final
on the
season?
ship with the
He
rest of them. They
should've,
should've
yes.
been
He's
incinerated.
such an asshole.
Yeah.
His character was kind of weird, wasn't he?
He
like
was.
He didn't belong. It was-
You know, just
They tried to set him up like he was another Ramsay. Like he was supposed to be like this
Yeah.
crazy badass.
He just showed
like,
up and
evil.
shoved, the king off the bridge and said, "I'm here now," and that was
yeah,
he
it.
was
Ramsey
kind
was
of-
just you
Yeah.
just felt it. He just like, oh.
But see,
he's
they
just
built that up
scary.
though, so that was over
Yeah.
several seasons.
Yes.
And that's what I think made that Battle of the Bastards episode so fulfilling, was that this show had a way of just, oh, there's going to be justice. No, everyone got murdered at a wedding.
Yeah.
And then finally you were like, it was so awful, and there was never justice, that in
Right.
that episode you're like, yes, finally,
Yes.
there's somebody is getting what they deserve.
Yeah. You know, one thing that I did like was that for some characters, their stories did come full circle. For example, what's the guy who they cut off his balls, who used to be with the Starks?
Oh,
Oh,
Theon.
Theon.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, he wanted to redeem himself to the Starks, and he died defending Bran.
Who he tried to kill before, right?
Who tried
Exactly.
to kill?
Yeah. It all comes back
And
full
Bran,
circle.
yeah. And Bran told him exactly what he needed to go run off and get stabbed.
Yeah.
For unknown reasons.
I
Yeah.
have a theory that Bran is actually the most evil character.
I
of them
think
all.
Bran has been planning this shit The
Well,
moment he fell out of that window, well, he was pushed out of the window.
So I
technically.
didn't think that for a long time until the last episode when they choose him as king,
Mhm.
and he says, "Why do you think I came down this far?"
Exactly.
That tells me you also can see some version of the future.
That was
so you
different.
know
Yeah.
exactly
What was gonna
he gave the
happen.
dagger to Arya, knowing
Uh-huh.
she was going to use it to kill the Night King. So he knew that Daenerys was going to go nuts. He
Yeah.
knew that people were going to die by the millions. He knew that by telling Jon the truth, all of this would
Mhm.
happen. So
Yeah.
in a way, to me, and he ends up being king, which he already knew.
He did it all for himself.
But maybe
Yeah.
though, I think because I
don't
read
know.
something about this, maybe the thing is though that he knows that Tyrion should run the kingdom, but that he can't, for the reasons that he said. So he
Right.
knew it had to be this way. So he made himself the king because he doesn't really care. He doesn't want to be the king, and he's going to let Tyrion do everything.
Do
and
everything
just,
anyway.
and just
Maybe
kind of
so.
be.
It just seems like, to your point earlier, Keish, what did he really accomplish
Mhm.
except everything he had already foreseen, even at the cost of, we're going to assume, millions of people at this point.
Mhm.
It seemed to be something he could have handled differently, knowing exactly.
Well, let
how
me
things
throw it
would
out here
be.
again. So I just had this thought. The
It'll
other
be
thing
something that
is,
you and I don't remember
if he
much.
didn't, this one you'll remember. If he didn't tell John about his lineage, well, if he didn't tell Sam about it, then that whole thing with Daenerys wouldn't have happened, and then she would have been the queen. And I think what they were saying is that she was going to be a tyrant, and it would have been horrible, and she would have been entrenched in power,
Yeah.
and that they needed her to be there to defeat the Night King and to get
Right.
rid of Cersei, but that she had to go. And so without that thing about John going around, it wouldn't have happened. So that
Right.
he.
Yeah, it felt well, and when Daenerys was killed, two things I thought felt very contrived. One was her kind of major leftist, speech, which kind of showed, okay, she's really going to be kind of a benevolent tyrant. So
When I was
so
a
she had
little
to die.
girl, my brother said that the Iron Throne had 20,000 swords. And what does that mean to a girl who can not count past 20? Did I do it?
Wow.
I thought it was good. I
pretty
think
good.
it sounded good.
So moving on.
Get done an audition. You should have done a script reading for the show.
And then-
Right?
So then she's killed.
Mhm.
Drogon appears.
Yeah, that was
and
sad.
Didn't kill Jon immediately.
No.
And then just decided, I'm going to burn this chair that meant nothing to me as an animal.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden now they kind of force that poetic, oh, this is the thing that really killed my mom, so I'm going to melt it for no good reason.
Yeah, because
And
all
then
of a
picks her up
sudden,
and
yeah.
flies away.
Yeah.
I felt like maybe he couldn't hurt John because he's a
Me too.
Targaryen.
Yeah.
I thought that he
I
couldn't
think there
do
was
it.
something more, yeah.
See, but here's the thing. Remember, there was a war between Targaryens.
Right.
Mhm.
And they fought each other with dragons, killed each other with dragons.
Right, true.
So I don't
True.
think there's a
Yeah,
built-in,
True.
you
Maybe he
and-
just liked him. I don't know.
I
Yeah,
think he
I-
just liked
I
them
don't know.
too. And
No, I think
just,
they needed that to happen.
Well, you're right.
To give a
Yeah.
little bit
You're
of
right.
And I did get choked up when he was kind of nudging
Yeah.
at Daenerys. I was like, God damn, that was pretty sad. Let me say something else. Sansa, glad she made it out alive.
Mhm.
And I'm sure you and James probably knew this. I got straight pissed off when I saw that Ghost's ear was cut off. I was like, who the fuck did that to his ear?
I missed that too. My wife said happened in the battle.
That he said,
Against
well,
the Night
no,
King,
that
yeah.
happened in the battle.
I missed that.
But I will say this. I'm so glad that they had the extra money in their budget for John to actually pet Ghost that episode.
I had never noticed that I didn't know that was a thing.
Yes.
That people said he had never pet him before.
Yeah.
So
They
see,
had a little
I've
extra
watched it, but I
money.
didn't notice that. So
I
see,
knew something you didn't know.
there you go.
So they had a little extra money. That was good to see. What else? It just
I was happy for Tyrion. That went well. That's what he
Yes.
should have been doing. He got
Yes.
done wrong after he did a good job as the hand before,
Yes.
and his dad just came in and treated him like garbage.
yeah.
I was happy for him. That's how
Yeah.
it should have been.
He was. I felt he was truly heartbroken when he saw
When
that
she
Jamie
did-
was dead.
And then with Daenerys too, that it was when
Yeah.
she did that, he was just everything I thought was going to happen is a lie in my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
But that he got to have a happy ending.
Yes,
was
I'm
was
very
good.
happy for him, and I'm sure he's gonna go bang a lot of chicks like he used to do, and
But why did he get a say in who becomes king when he was sitting there in shackles? Was it because he was the last Lannister or the last representative of Casterly
I
Rock?
thought they knew
or-
that was just BS. That they're like, all right,
Yeah.
man, we're going to let you go. This
Yeah,
is,
Yeah.
this is
all
not
that.
right.
Well, and why the hell was John alive at all?
Really.
So,
Yeah.
because apparently they knew he killed Daenerys.
Well,
Why
how did they know that he killed
I'm
Daenerys?
sure he said he did because he's a good
Exactly.
Because he's acting like Ned.
They
I
would have
did
had
it.
to find me.
Well, probably
I
so,
would have
but-
been like, I don't know where the
I
knife
told my
is.
wife he got on the
You're right.
dragon and she just flew away.
That's what I would have said. I'm like, John, why are you so dumb? Like, who saw you? Because I would have been like, I ain't seen nothing. I wasn't even here. I was over there with Sam. You know, I was making a quilt for his baby, and I don't know where Danny is. Have y'all seen her? I've been waiting for her, you know? I agree with you. Why did he tell on
That's
himself?
what Littlefinger would have said. She left.
I would have been like, I ain't seen that bitch. She
Yeah,
been
did you
gone.
see what
Yeah.
this dragon just did? He
Yeah,
just burned the
Oh
thing.
my! You
Yeah.
can't trust these things.
She's
They're
so
crazy.
Yes.
Exactly.
I would have been like, these hoes ain't loyal.
He
Y'all
stepped-
know these
he
hoes
stepped
ain't
on
loyal.
her,
She
and he
didn't
was
want to
stuck to
burn
his
down
foot
the
when he
town.
flew
The
away.
dragon
Yeah.
just went crazy.
Yes, that made zero sense to me.
Well,
That Jon
also-
Snow turned himself in.
Well, not just that, but Grey Worm was killing people in the street. You don't think the
He would
minute
kill
he
Jon
finds
Snow?
out he controls the city, you wouldn't think that he would just run Jon through with a spear
Maybe
immediately?
he turned
Like,
himself into the right people. Is my thought. He said, "I'm going to turn myself in. I don't have to turn myself into you."
Who else was there? There
What?
was the Northern Army wasn't there yet. Well, I guess they were.
There were some
but,
of the other houses there.
but
He
they
could
were.
have.
Yeah, but they took a while to get there. I mean,
Well-
some of them did, but
Yeah, they just
just-
conveniently didn't really show us that part.
Yeah.
so-
No,
Well,
not at
and then-
all.
Maybe
And-
at the end of the day, though, he said, "If I just kill him, it's going to be bad. Like
maybe
there's,
so.
it's just going to erupt."
Yeah, I know Sansa had said that the Northmen would fight if something happened to him, but then they sent him to the Night's Watch. Which why
Yeah,
is there
that
a
was
Night's
just
Watch?
wrong.
when
And I
there's
thought that
There's
too.
Why
I
is
thought,
that
well,
there?
the wildlings like them now, and the
Yeah,
Night
there's
King's
no
dead.
reason to have a Night's
so-
Watch.
I don't. It didn't make sense at all. But
And then
And there's a
I'm
big
sorry,
hole in the wall.
One more thing, and then all the Unsullied decide to go to Narth. So as
Bless
soon
you.
as they're left the city, they all left together. Why not just let Jon stay? Because the only ones that give a shit was the Unsullied.
I guess he
Grey
thought they'd
Worm.
find out and come back or cause a problem or what. But it
But
sounds
then-
like John's just going to ditch out on parole and go be with the
with the wildlings.
wildlings
Yeah.
anyway.
Wildlings,
So
yeah.
Stay.
Yeah,
and then they're
apparently
just
didn't
going to
really-
look the other way, right?
yeah, I
You-
think
Yeah.
you know, the fact that John turned himself in, and Mike, hopefully you'll agree with me, that was some straight up white people shit right there. A black person or a Mexican person,
We've been
hell,
out.
we didn't see nothing. I wasn't even here. I was out of town. Like, we would not have done that. Of course, Jon Snow.
It was the
Turn
Ned
himself
Stark
in.
thing. It was he grew up with Ned Stark and the guy who
I
got himself
guess.
offed, right?
But yeah, I guess that's what we learned from the show is nice guys finish last, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Because
yeah.
all the dirty people, they were all dirty, but all the dirty people ended up in power. And they
Though
all,
Littlefinger
That's
didn't
right.
make it though. He was
Well-
the most scheming. He
And the way they did
He got
Littlefinger
doubled it.
was just like, oh my,
He
go
deserved
girls,
that.
he sure did.
What I always liked though, and you're talking about Bran, I did love when Littlefinger met Bran, and he kind of had this, "You see everything, don't you?" And he was like, "I really don't like you because you really scare me in a way I've never been frightened before."
Yeah, and then he just kind of got that creepy dead eye.
But it-
Bran's just like, oh, don't look at me.
It would just crack me up. Littlefinger just looked viscerally afraid
Right,
of
because
him.
he
Like,
wasn't
"Ah."
afraid very often
you know
of
all the
anything.
secrets. This is
yes.
bad.
Well, I would say, you know, it was a fun journey. You know,
It was a great show. I did, the
one of the
season
best
before,
shows ever.
The season before, it was all right, but this one, it was just too fast. I think if they'd
Yeah,
done a full
it was
season,
rushed.
or if last season had been a full season, they maybe could have got away with this. But it is a shame that
Yeah.
the execution, I think, was just lacking.
You know,
Yeah.
I rewatched it today, and it wasn't.
did?
Yeah, it wasn't as bad today.
Really?
Yeah, well, see, the problem with it seemed more like a season finale than a series finale, right?
Yes, it did. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think
Mhm.
that. Yeah, I agree.
I liked the choices, like I said earlier. I just wish they had done a better job of getting to those places. It just.
You know what would have been cool if someone would have just, you know, when they were by the water and they were saying their goodbyes to Stark kids, if someone would have just kicked Bran on over in the water, and then it would have said, "What the fuck are we gonna do now? Can John? I think John. I guess you're the king now. You know, I'm just saying.
Oh, and you know what else bothered me? Your girl Brienne of Tarth.
yeah.
The way she rewrote that Jamie Lannister stuff in the book, she was like, who was it you were talking about? Wonder Woman the other day, going for the
Oh,
D?
going
Yeah.
for the D.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
She was just incensed by it.
She got a little bit of dick, and bitch lost her mind.
Yeah.
I think there was a meme that says something like it's Brienne writing in the book, and she's put in Brienne had the ill nana or something like that. Like that's what I would have put in there. Like, you know,
She wrote Brienne and Jamie. Brienne
Brienne and-
Lannister. Like in the book,
Yeah.
writing your name. Brienne.
because to me that just, you know, she's been such this force. You know, I am a woman. You know, I can do anything a man can do. She got a good dick in one time, and became a pussy.
But didn't
She's
she
like,
respect him more before? I mean, I don't think it was just when they got together that night that she had developed a respect for him over the last several seasons.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
When he
absolutely.
saved her,
Yeah.
and that he had said things to her like, you're redeeming yourself, you're being
Yeah.
better now, and she quit calling him Kingslayer and called him.
Yeah.
So I felt like that part didn't bother me
Brienne
personally.
And then-
cried over Jamie. I didn't like seeing that.
Well, remember, Jamie gave her the one thing she always wanted, to be a knight.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He knighted her, which was an awesome
he
scene.
he really
that
knighted
episode
her.
was,
He
yeah.
really
was not
knighted
too
her.
bad. The second episode,
They
that
were
was
all
actually
good,
pretty
They were all
except
good.
for the last one.
Well,
The-
the first half was pretty good. Of this last one,
Yes.
it fell apart at the second half.
Yeah, it did. I'll say this. We raised some dragon babies together. We taught those baby dragons how to fly.
Had to get shot.
We rode on those dragons together. We cried together. We fought side by side. Yeah, we lost some along the way. James, finish it up for me. At least I didn't call you John.
That's true. Yeah. All that happened, and in the end, we get to bitch at the writers.
Yeah.
What a great circle.
I want to thank both of my guests tonight. Our pop culture, who knows, you're like our brand a little bit. Oh, before we go, was that not the pettiest shit that they named that boy Brand the Broken because he's crippled?
Mhm.
That was some. I was like, oh, y'all petty. Mike Navarro, it is always a great pleasure having you here.
Thanks for
So
having
there's
me.
some new news with Manticore Media. Why don't you let everyone know?
Yes, as of yesterday, our podcasts are now on Anchor.fm, and Anchor slowly distributes your podcast to all the major networks.
Whoop, whoop.
So hopefully in the next couple days, I'll be on Apple Podcasts, also on Spotify, and there was another one added today that I don't remember the name.
Because it was a
Yeah.
lie. He just made it that last part of it. Make sure you check out Mike and make sure you're following him on Facebook. Are you guys on Instagram?
No,
Gotta get on the gram.
I don't believe in no gram.
Oh man. What about the Twitter?
Yeah, I'm on the Twitter. I don't
Yeah,
really
I
use
don't
it. I
like
don't
the
like
Twitter.
Twitter
It's
either.
weird. It's really
Yeah.
weird. And I really want to thank Sean Skipworth for coming down here and really keeping it real.
Well, thank you.
I appreciate that. Make sure tell everyone again the voting dates and locations.
Yep, starts next Tuesday, day after Memorial Day, at the Dickinson Community Center on Highway 3, 8 to 5. Then you got 2 days the next week, Monday, Tuesday, 7 to 7. And then Election Day is the 8th, June 8th, Saturday, at City Hall, 7 to 7.
Make sure you go out there and vote. And producer James and I will see you guys next week. I don't know who our guest is going to be. I don't know what we're going to talk about, but we'll see you. Make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel and you're following us on all social media, Facebook, Instagram, the Twitter. Anything else, producer James?
Let me sign out. I wanted to do my Marco Rubio water drink. I thought when I'm
Oh
here.
yeah, y'all were both
Remember-
real extra.
Or how he
with the
did
water bottle.
he did the, remember that? He did, the. So I'm a politician. I had to go do that. All right.
How extra were these two? They both brought a water bottle and a Starbucks cup. That's some extra shit right there.
It's planning.
That-
Planning.
yeah,
So
y'all
vote for me.
y'all
I'm the
did good.
planner. I'm
Oh,
ready to
there
go.
you go. There you go. He's a planner. All right, we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
It's everything we do. Everything we do. Timeless. Huh. Yeah, I'm about that life. You motherfuckers ain't